He moved with an air of entitlement, of effortless superiority. Every step he took seemed to command attention, as if the very ground beneath him was honored by his presence. His robes, his jewels, his entourage, all whispered of unimaginable wealth and power. The glint of his jewelry caught the light, dazzling those around him, while his entourage moved with a practiced grace, a testament to their high society training. He was a Saudi prince, or so they believed, a man who could make dreams come true with a snap of his fingers. At lavish parties, he would grant wishes to his followers, making them feel like they were in the presence of true royalty. But beneath the expensive facade, behind the charming smile, lurked a secret. This was no prince. The luxurious lifestyle was a carefully crafted illusion designed to deceive and manipulate. It was an elaborate lie, a carefully constructed persona crafted for one purpose, to deceive. The scheme was intricate, involving layers of deception that took years to build and perfect. His name was Anthony Gignac, and for years he spun a web of deceit so convincing that it fooled even the most discerning. His charm was his greatest weapon, allowing him to infiltrate the highest echelons of society. This is the story of how a master manipulator, armed with nothing but audacity and cunning, conned his way into the ranks of the elite, leaving a trail of shattered lives and millions of dollars in his wake. His victims, once dazzled by his apparent wealth and status, were left to pick up the pieces of their broken dreams and empty bank accounts. Anthony Gignac's early life was a far cry from the opulent world he would later inhabit. Born in Colombia and adopted by an American family in Michigan, his childhood was ordinary, even troubled at times. But within him, a seed of ambition, of longing for a different life began to grow. He craved the wealth, the attention, the power he saw others possess. This yearning, coupled with a natural talent for manipulation, formed the foundation of his future deceptions. He began small with petty cons and fabrications, each success fueling his audacity, pushing him towards bolder schemes. The transformation from Anthony Gignac, the unremarkable, to Prince Khalid bin Sultan Al Saud, the impossibly wealthy, was gradual, a carefully plotted evolution.
To inhabit the role of a Saudi prince required more than just claiming the title. It was not merely about donning a traditional robe or adopting a regal demeanor. It demanded a complete transformation, a meticulous attention to detail that went beyond the superficial.
Gignac understood this implicitly. He knew that to convince others, he had to first convince himself. He immersed himself in the intricacies of Saudi culture, diving deep into the history, the traditions, and the values that defined it. He spent countless hours studying their customs, their religion, their mannerisms, ensuring that every gesture and word was authentic. He surrounded himself with luxury, purchasing expensive cars, designer clothes, and opulent jewelry, each item carefully selected to enhance his persona. All these were carefully chosen to project an image of effortless wealth, a lifestyle that seemed second nature to him. He spoke of vast oil fields, of palaces and private jets, weaving tales of unimaginable extravagance that left his audience captivated. His stories were so vivid, so detailed, that they seemed almost real. He even went so far as to hire a royal entourage, paying individuals to pose as his bodyguards, advisors, and even his mother, each role meticulously crafted to add credibility. Adding another layer of authenticity to his elaborate charade, he ensured that every aspect of his life was in sync with the image he projected. It was a performance, a grand illusion, but one that he executed with unparalleled precision. With his carefully crafted persona in place, Gignac embraced the lifestyle of the ultra-rich with gusto. He frequented exclusive restaurants, demanding the finest wines and the most opulent dishes. He showered his companions with lavish gifts, expensive watches, and designer handbags, all purchased with stolen funds. He traveled by private jet, staying in luxurious suites and demanding the very best service, effortlessly maintaining the facade of a man accustomed to such extravagance. His every action was a performance, a calculated display of wealth designed to reinforce his fabricated identity and silence any lingering doubts. The art of the con lies in the intricate web of deception, a carefully constructed facade that can fool even the most discerning individuals. Gignac's genius lay not just in the persona he created, but in his deep understanding of human psychology. He knew exactly how to read people, to sense their weaknesses and desires. He preyed on people's aspirations, their desire to be close to power and wealth. By presenting himself as someone who could fulfill their dreams, he made them believe in a reality that was entirely fabricated. He was a master manipulator, able to identify and exploit the vulnerabilities of his targets with uncanny precision. His ability to weave a narrative that resonated with their deepest wishes was unparalleled. He presented himself as a gateway to unimaginable opportunities, promising lucrative business deals, exclusive investments, and access to his supposed royal connections. His documents were meticulously crafted to appear legitimate, adding to the illusion. He showered his victims with attention, flattery, and carefully crafted lies, playing on their greed and their desire to be part of his world. Lavish settings and grand promises made his deception even more convincing, and once he had gained their trust, he would strike, disappearing with their money before they even realized they had been conned. His exit was as seamless as his entry, leaving his victims in a state of shock and disbelief, wondering how they could have been so easily deceived. Gignac's victims came from all walks of life, from wealthy investors to unsuspecting individuals who crossed his path.
There was the hotel magnate who, seduced by the promise of a lucrative partnership, invested millions in a fictitious development project.
And there was the art dealer who, captivated by Gignac's supposed royal patronage, handed over valuable artworks as a gesture of goodwill, only to never see them again.
Each victim, blinded by the allure of wealth and the carefully constructed illusion, fell prey to Gignac's cunning manipulations, their trust and their fortunes stolen in equal measure. As Gignac's schemes grew bolder, so too did the risks. His lavish lifestyle, his extravagant claims, and his ever-shifting stories began to attract unwanted attention.
Whispers of doubt turned into hushed conversations, suspicions arose, and questions were asked.
Hotel staff, accustomed to serving genuine royalty, noticed inconsistencies in his behavior, his demands, his knowledge of Saudi customs. Business associates, sensing something amiss in his grandiose claims and unverifiable stories, began to distance themselves. The meticulously constructed facade, once impenetrable, began to show cracks, threatening to crumble under the weight of its own lies. The beginning of the end came with a seemingly insignificant detail, a plate of pork. Gignac, claiming to be a devout Muslim, had committed the unthinkable, indulging in a dish strictly forbidden by his supposed faith. This seemingly minor transgression, witnessed by a suspicious associate, proved to be his undoing.
The associate, alerted to the possibility of fraud, contacted the authorities, setting in motion a chain of events that would unravel Gignac's carefully crafted world.
The FBI, alerted to his activities, launched a full-scale investigation, piecing together the intricate web of lies, tracking his movements and interviewing his victims.
The evidence against Gignac was overwhelming. Faced with mountains of incriminating documents, witness testimonies, and the sheer audacity of his crimes, he was left with little choice but to plead guilty.
In 2019, the man who had once posed as a prince who had dined with diplomats and swindled millions was sentenced to 18 years in federal prison. The court heard how he had defrauded over 20 victims, amassing a fortune of over $8 million, all built on a foundation of lies and deceit. The judge, in his sentencing remarks, described Gignac as a master manipulator driven by greed and a thirst for power. His crimes a stark reminder of the devastating impact of fraud.
The impact of Gignac's crimes extended far beyond the financial losses incurred by his victims. The emotional toll, the betrayal of trust, the shattered dreams left many deeply scarred.
Some were forced to declare bankruptcy, their life savings wiped out by Gignac's schemes.
Others lost their businesses, their reputations tarnished by their association with the fake prince.
For them, the sentence handed down while bringing a sense of justice could never fully erase the pain and hardship they had endured. They were left to pick up the pieces, forever marked by their encounter with the man who had so convincingly presented himself as a Saudi prince. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe.